Okay, let's get started on this report about President Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation.
It shouldn't be hard. 4 words. Lincoln freed the slaves.
Well, it wasn't that simple.
Now, therefore I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, by virtue of the power invested in me as Commander-in-Chief in time of actual armed rebellion.
So, Lincoln wrote the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862. Why didn't he issue it then?
Because Lincoln wanted to make sure the time was right and he consulted his cabinet.
This meeting is now in session. There is something very important I would like to discuss.
What is it, Mr. President?
Well, I'm not sure if I should pass the Emancipation Proclamation at this time or not.
Mr. President, I don't think you should quite yet.
Why not, Mr. Seward?
I'm suggesting that you do not pass the proclamation yet because, even though I think it is a good idea, it should be passed when there's a victory won by the Union.
That's a good idea, Mr. Seward. I'll put the draft aside until we have a victory.
So, Lincoln needed a Union victory?
Yes, and the Battle of Antietam in September gave him a victory.
So, I've been thinking.
Are you finally going to pass the Emancipation Proclamation?
Yes, I am. I made a vow, a covenant, that if God gave us a victory in the recently past great battle, I would consider it an indication of divine will and think it my duty to move on with the cause of emancipation.
When shall it take effect?
The 1st of January, 1863. I do order and declare that all persons held as slaves within said designated states are and henceforth shall be free, and that the executive government of the United States will recognize and maintain the freedom of said persons.
Okay, so then Lincoln gave everyone their freedom?
Not exactly. Lincoln only freed the slaves that were living in the states that had seceded from the Union.
Were the slaves in Maryland free?
No, the slaves in the border states of Maryland, Kentucky, and Missouri were not free. Lincoln didn't want those states to leave the Union too.
Whoa, that must have been confusing.
It was.
I'm free. I don't have to listen to you. No, you aren't free because you're...
Mr. President, it is my desire to be free, to go see my people on the eastern shore. My mistress won't let me. Will you please let me know if we are free, and what can I do? I write to you for advice. Please send me word this week or as soon as possible and oblige.
When was everyone finally free?
When the war ended in 1865.
I can't imagine what that would have been like.
The happiest time of my life was when Captain Tipton, a Yankee soldier, came and told us the war was over and we were free. Captain Tipton said,
You are the boys we did this for.
We sure didn't lose no time getting away, no man. We went to Lewisburg and then up to Charlton by wagon and then took the government boat. That Ohio shore sure looked pretty.
When the old master comes down in the cotton patch to tell us about being free, he say, I hates to tell you, but I know it's got to. You is free, just as free as me or anybody else which white. We didn't hardly know what he means.
I remember so well how the roads were full of folks walking and walking along when the slaves were freed. Didn't know where they were going, just going to see about something else somewhere else. And then I begins to think and to know I never had to be a slave no more.
Freedom.
Understanding.
No one should be held back by the color of their skin or who they are.
Compassion.
Equality.
Hope.